Hello and welcome to another Video Games to the Max. Almost said one of the other shows. But this is number 122 if we add in all the different variations of what this show has been. This is the official 4-1 Game Zone podcast. I am your host Sean Grammer, and with me today is Mr. Mark Morrison.
Howdy.
Well, hey, at least we kept this one only a week old.
Yeah.
So, how's your week been?
Uh, okay. I had food poisoning a few days ago, so I felt like dying. That's about it.
Oh boy, that
I,
is never good.
I also played the Order 1866, so I also felt like dying.
Hey, but at least you got your first platinum, right?
Yeah. First platinum trophy, because a trained chimp could do it.
You're not joking. That is a
Yeah.
game that is super uh, dull and easy, apparently.
Yeah, and you can just follow a guide to, unlock everything, so I just did that. I didn't even care about gameplay.
Is there really gameplay in that game?
The game moves so slowly that it's just, 2 hours of gameplay in a 4-hour game.
Yikes. Yeah, and if you don't want to sit there and actually read everything and all that, it goes even faster, huh?
Yeah.
Goodness. And they charged $60 for that. Wow.
Yeah, I got it for $6, so I'm okay with that price.
It seems about fair. And maybe even then, still a little too expensive.
Yeah.
I'm surprised they have not had it come out for PS Plus at this point.
Nah.
But you know,
Yeah.
I think it's like on the border of their 7.5 Metacritic rating that a game has to have or something in order for them to put it on there anyway. So
Well, I could see how it misses it, trust me.
yeah. So other than that, what have you been playing?
Just more of the same. Dirt Rally, I've finished the review of that finally. Uh, Final Fantasy X still. I spent an hour last night doing that goddamn Chocobo race. Uh, about it.
Yeah, I've only really played and it's only a little bit. I've only got up to like the first, where you get to the first Moogle save point of the Final Fantasy IX Steam release. This is the first Steam release that that's been for a while, that they actually seem like they gave a lot of care to, and you don't see a lot of people on Steam complaining about, oh, this is a straight iOS port and all the stuff. All the reviews are positive when I went to go buy the game.
Yeah.
Almost $17, which I guess isn't bad when considering the PS1 version. When I bought it, they were still wanting you to pay $20 in the store. So, and really, it's the graphical update is not anything totally amazing or whatever. The FMV scenes look much better than they did on the PS1. The character models have been spruced up a little bit. The main characters, the other characters are not touched much. The text is a lot more clear, obviously, and things like that. But it's not anything crazy. So I mean, I don't know if I didn't try to mess with the settings either, so maybe I don't have it at the tippy top settings, but I don't even remember seeing anything about messing with settings so much. So maybe it's just I didn't look well enough in the options there. But I know you said you got a code for Day of the Tentacle, so you didn't play it at all.
No, my internet has been super jacked up the past few days. I'm not even sure now if you can hear me or not. You sound really distorted to me for some reason. So, but I tried to enter that code into my PS4 like 4 different times, and each time it failed. So I eventually had to find out how to do it on the PC website and just do it there.
Jeez, that That's not good either. And you seem like you had just a not a good week as far as all that. But yeah, I guess we can certainly move on to this huge news that, and we've talked about it. It's not like it hasn't been out there, but PS4.5 now has a code name, Neo, Giant Bomb, and Eurogamer. Both got documents, basically telling everybody about the reported specs that this upgrade will have. They don't seem way too, it's not this huge ass improvement over
Yeah.
the PS4. They're very minimal, I guess you could say. Um, you go from having a 1.6 gigahertz core to a 2.1 gigahertz core in the CPU. You go from having 36 CUs, and obviously the megahertz is going to be bigger when you put more in there. And then the memory is a little bit bigger. It goes from 175 or 176 to 218 gigabytes. So not a huge change, and I think there's more specs you can go find on one of those documents, but that's not the issue here. The issue is the internet blowing up because they obviously feel like at some point this is just going to mean that this will become the norm, and that obviously is a problem for console owners that for 30 plus years have always been used to, you buy one console, you have it until the PS5, the Xbox 2, whatever comes out. I mean, what do you think about all this?
Like, I understand that position wholeheartedly, but this is such a kind of a small small upgrade that it kind of doesn't matter in the long run. Like, they're not going to make like Neo exclusive games, so who cares? Like, if you do care about that stuff, just sell your PS4 and save the money until 5 or 6 months until they release it and go buy it.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing too. You don't necessarily, you can wait if you, but the thing is too, like the other code name this thing has is a PS4 4K. So really, you're only this is really for the people that are just really up to date on all the technology and everything. Because if you don't have a 4K TV, what the hell does this matter?
Yeah, and
Um,
most people don't have a 4K TV, so
Yeah, and even then, it's not going to be in native 4K. The graphics that are there are not big enough for that to show in native 4K. That's 4K video as far as like watching Netflix in 4K or something like that. I mean, yeah, it's going to run better. I think the only thing that I've heard people complain about that might be a legit complaint, because as you go further along and they expect more people to have these 4.5s, or just because this is the how you do it in general, that they make the game for that 4.5 machine and then they downscale it to the 4, and maybe it doesn't look as good as other 4 games have in the past because they made it with the 4.5 in mind. Do you see that happening?
no, because most people still make games for both consoles. So they're still gonna the PS4 is still probably gonna be the bench like the middle tier between the PS4.5 and the Xbox One. So they're probably still gonna shoot for that benchmark so they can downsample it to the Xbox One a little. I mean, it's not huge, but between the two, the Xbox One is a little less powerful than the PS4 right now. So, um, and also like games cannot run worse on the 4.5 than they do on the PS4. So if a company decides to like go hog wild with like visual upgrades, it's like, well, fine, but it still has to hit 30 frames per second or 60 frames per second on the base model, or else they get in trouble with Sony.
Right. And that's the big thing that Sony has came out and discussed. They have made it. I mean, they haven't commented on the rumors, but this is I guess, in the documents, whatever, that Sony is doing everything they possibly can to make people understand that they do not want to split the player base, because this has happened. I mean, this kind of thing has not happened with a console really since like the whole crap with Sega, and they had like 4 different consoles out there at the same time or whatever at one point. Um, and they don't want to do that. So they're making sure to let these people understand that, look, you're not going to be able to just do whatever you want on the 4.5 and then screw over the PS4 people, because let's be honest here, this is going to come out and probably not going to be huge. Right? Like, you don't see this as becoming this thing that everybody's just going to drop and buy.
No, like it'll come out like it's like when the Xbox 360 started slowly updating its hardware. Like if you look at the 360 when it launched compared to like what it became, like there were some upgrades to it. So
Right.
I mean, they may have like a special branding on it, like the new PS4 or like the PS. I hate that term, but PS4 4.5 or PS4 4K. But most people are not going to know what that means or even care.
Yeah. I think,
Like,
certainly, you're right. I mean, it's just, unless Sony really comes out and goes, okay, well, you got to have it for this, or if you have it, you have a 4K TV, you need to get it here. But you already have almost 40 million PS4s out there in the wild, unless for some reason these companies, they make a deal with retailers, which nothing has been said about that, about doing an upgrade. I don't
yeah,
see people just going, okay. Now I do see the PS4s eventually might get phased out, which that happens.
yeah. That'll
Yeah,
definitely happen. I mean, they'll
yeah.
blow through their stock of PS4s right now, or up until the time. But then I think they're going to probably start making PS4s totally, and they're just going to make this thing.
Right, yeah. I think definitely that's what's going to happen here is they're going to be sitting here going, okay, we're going to try to push this thing out there. And like you said, the thing with the 360 was they had to do it because of the Red Ring deal. So that's sort of why a lot of that was changed. But even then, we still have this stuff happen when they come out with the PS4 Slim, and I'm sure the Xbox One will come out with a smaller version of itself. That was talked about, I think, even after it launched. Like they said, we'll figure out how to make a smaller box. But
Yeah.
so how is this really different from that kind of thing?
Well,
Just
it's like how is it different from like the DS, like what they did with the DSi with Nintendo? Like they released 3 of those goddamn things.
Right. It it's a new 3DS situation,
Yeah,
and I think Nintendo learned after they made Xenoblade Chronicles X that it didn't sell, so we can't sit here and keep making new 3DS things. I mean, they have arbitrarily given it, Super Nintendo Virtual Console special deals and that new Hyrule Legends whatever DS version basically doesn't run on the regular 3DS. So don't buy
which
it.
is
Yeah.
which is still probably a lie. I mean, let's be honest.
Well, no, it doesn't run that well. You can tell. You can see the difference
No, no,
between.
I meant the Super Nintendo stuff.
Oh yeah, the Super Nintendo stuff is probably just a bunch of. I can see how you can say it looks better, but really those games are so old. Like, does it really matter if
Yeah,
those games look that much better or not? Um,
it's like Madden '93 is like never looked better than on the new 3DS. It's like, all right, I guess.
right? Yeah, that's exactly what everybody's been waiting for. That Madden '93 to look better. Uh, but you don't think that this at all is going to affect them negatively?
Oh, I
Uh,
mean, it definitely will, but I just don't think it'll be that big of a deal in the long run. Especially since like everyone still hates the Xbox One.
Yeah, I mean, and we'll get to the Xbox One in a second, but even Shuhei Yoshida had an interview sort of with, well, Lauren Lanning, who's kind of sort of become when he's not doing you know stuff
Oddworld
with
stuff.
Oddworld stuff, which is hardly ever. He's kind of become this analyst for video games, and he says that there's supposedly talk about, is it possible that the PS5 is a big if, that he talked to Shuhei Yoshida and he said the PS5 is an if right now.
Well, the thing is I don't think it's a big if. I mean, right now it's a big if just because they're probably not working on a PS5 like right now, but
Right.
they'll eventually release a PS5 because the PlayStation like branch of Sony is like one of their few profitable parts of it right now. Still,
Do you think that this is possibly like kind of like the iPhone thing, where now you have two different tracks of systems? You have a PS4, and then you have the PS4 4.5. So when the PS5 comes out, everybody that has a PS4 should upgrade to the PS5, and then they'll eventually have a PS5.5, and the people that have a 4.5 upgrade to that.
no, I don't. I doubt that. I think it'll depend on how well this shakes out, but I just don't see them splitting their user base quite like that. At least in the future. I mean, you'd like to think that the PS5, whatever it's going to have, is going to be like pretty future proof.
Right.
But we'll see. they
I
start to
mean,
get to that. They start to get to that PlayStation 9 in 2077, though.
right? Yeah, exactly. But you don't see this. Do you see this becoming a thing now? Like if well, obviously this has to work in order for that to be the case. But if this is moderately successful, and I think Sony understands that there's no way that there's going to be, even with an upgrade program, there's not going to be 40 million PS4 4.5s out there.
No.
That this becomes a thing, sort of like I guess what Phil Spencer was talking about with the upgrade that you're going to have like upgrades every 2 years for this, going into like the next generation.
I just don't see it because I think most console owners are just too fickle with that type of stuff than like with cell phones, and it's a weird comparison. But people use cell phones a lot more than consoles. I mean, you take your cell phone everywhere.
Right, and then also these manufacturers and the retailers also kind of do things to your phone so that you sort of have to upgrade every 2 years. Stuff will stop. I just did this with my wife where I gave her my old S4 that I paid off recently. I paid off about 6 months ago, but I didn't do the
Yeah.
upgrade until, about a couple of weeks ago. And she started telling me that there seemed to be things going on with the phone. And I was like, yeah, that seems about right. Because they kind of do that so that you upgrade on purpose. And especially with T-Mobile where you're paying them monthly. A lot of these places are doing it now where you pay them for the phone monthly instead of paying it all out at once. And, so they can keep getting money from you. That's what they do. Um, I just don't think that you can do that with a console when it costs $400. And that's the thing, like unless they're not talking about some kind of upgrade or anything, but it's gonna cost $400 again. So, do you think this is also a way for basically I've heard people talking about PSVR, and that basically that power box that you're buying the PSVR for, they'd be able to put it in the console.
Yeah, because they did that with the Xbox 360 with Kinect.
Right.
So, I mean, sure, why not? I mean, if you can just add the like adapter on there, screw it. Go ahead.
What's weird though is you'd think if you're really going to do this, you might want to announce this soon because there's a lot of people that don't have anything that you need for that bundle, and you can just go ahead and maybe don't have a system either, and you can just buy the whole thing, and you can just have the PSVR in there instead of having to buy that bundle and have all the things away from it. So
Yeah.
um, we'll have to see. And now that the stuff is out there, I think we'll have to see how long it takes Sony to come out and legitimately say, okay, look, all these documents are obviously real. We'll have more to say at E3 or whatever. And I think this is all about how Sony plays this, right? It's if Sony is upfront about whatever they want it to be, and supposedly now there's rumors from The Verge talking about how even though Phil Spencer said he didn't like the wording of an Xbox 1.5, that they are doing that. They are testing different consoles with upgraded components, and basically I think Microsoft's just kind of waiting to see if this eventually gets positive. And at E3, Microsoft also has their own Xbox 1.5, even though they're about half. They have half the sales of PS4 at this point. So it's I don't know if it behooves them or not to do it, but I'm not. I don't even like. At least Sony has the PSVR. Like I can't imagine what Microsoft really has to offer people to even have an Xbox 1.5 at this point.
HoloLens, son.
Well, they're gonna make HoloLens like what's a $3,000 thing, and they're gonna put it in there for free.
Why not?
Hey, I wouldn't mind it. The HoloLens thing looks pretty interesting, actually.
It's funny that he said like he wants big numbers because it's like you named your console the Xbox One, you idiot.
Yeah, you named your thing the Xbox 360 before, and then you went down in number. So
Yeah.
I these people, they talk, and then I think half the time they don't even realize what they're saying. They just they just say things and they go, oh, whoops. Probably shouldn't have said that, but
Well, in his case, he probably just has to defend whatever stupid decision the last guy made. So.
oh well, yeah, of course, he can't just totally go out there and blast Don Matrick at all.
Yeah.
It's just, even though probably if he did, it wouldn't be the worst thing. But Lauren Lanning did say that it seems like what Sony's doing is kind of future-proofing themselves for whenever 4K does get big, which I don't know that it's going to. I don't think it's the fad the 3D TVs were, but I think it's going to take a little bit longer than it took for the HD TV thing to get.
The difference is like when people switched from like tube TVs to like flat screens, you saw an immediate difference. Like the TVs are lighter, they're bigger, they're cheaper, stuff like that. With the difference between like HD TVs and 3D and this 4K stuff, it's like I already got a flat screen. Like I'm fine. Like it'll look better, but who cares in the long run for most people? Like unless their TV breaks, like that's the only reason people are going to upgrade again.
Right, yeah. I mean, and that's the when I went to Dallas, my dad has a 4K TV, and I mean, well, he used to have for the longest time he had a tube TV that had the tuner where you could make it in
tuner.
HD.
Yeah.
And I mean for the longest, like after I already had my flat screens and whatever, and because he didn't want to have to, he has it in this encased thing in his living room, and it's a pain in the ass to move. So I think he got it like within the last year or so, and that's the thing. Like most people, like you said, are not going to change TVs unless they just all of a sudden come upon this big money, or one of the TVs breaks. And even then, it's still much cheaper to go get another TV that you had than go get these 4K things.
Yeah.
And only for, okay, well, now instead of being able to just see something in HD, oh, now you might be able to like see the pimples on their face. I mean, it's a difference. It looks a hell of a lot prettier, but it's not anything you just totally need, kind of like this PS4 4.5 thing. It's not something you totally need. As long as they keep it that way, and all of a sudden somebody doesn't get greedy and say, okay, we're going to have exclusive games for this or whatever, then you run into the problem.
Once they finally introduce smell-o-vision into TVs, that's when you have to upgrade again.
Yeah, we're gonna go back to the 80s with that.
Yep.
Um, that's exactly what we're gonna do. But moving on from this, um, there I'm sure there will be more stuff that comes out from all this, and we'll be talking about it, I'm sure. But another thing that rumored, and it's still a rumor because we don't know what this means at all, but a map was leaked that's supposedly from Red Dead Redemption 2, supposed to be a prequel, and it might have ties with the upcoming Mafia 3 as well. I have the game on my PS3. I've been meaning to sit down and play it. I've never actually played Red Dead Redemption at all. What maybe there's people that are in my situation. What did you like the first game, and are you sort of excited for a number two to come out?
I like Red Dead Redemption fine. It had some kind of clunky controls. Uh, Once you got past that, it was okay. I just don't like the crux of that game is at the end the main character dies and you like play as a son like right at the very end, which is a very cool moment for that game. And then going back to like the John Marston well to like show the backstory, it's like no, I don't care about that. Like if you're gonna do a prequel, that's fine, but just pick a different character. Like just make a new character up. It's fine.
Yeah, yeah. I also kind of agree. I think when you do the prequel, it's not necessarily you might want to do somebody different. That way, you can kind of have a little bit more license to do
Like
what you want.
it would be cool to show like to show John Marston in like in the game, like have like a younger
Right?
version. But I don't want to play as him.
Why not?
His story has been done.
Okay.
It's kind of like the Star Wars prequels. It's like, yo, I already know how this ends, so who cares?
You do kind of know how this ends, but it's definitely interesting to see how it all started and the characters that are there before
Well,
the ones that we.
yeah, but they even talk about that in Red Dead Redemption. So that's the thing. It's like
Yeah, that's
there's
true.
nothing new here. I mean, you can show this stuff, but it's like, all right, he joined up with Dutch and formed a gang and stuff like that. But I mean, all right.
Yeah, we'll have to see what more comes out of it. I mean, it seems like it's funny because from what I remember or from what I've read, apparently if you went into the water, either he died or
Yeah, it was
some.
like it was like early GTA games where like if you when the water is drowned and he's like respawned.
So seems like there's a lot of water on this map. So I'm
Yeah,
guessing.
that the map looked really blue,
I mean, I
which is
guess.
weird because like the game took place in a desert, so it's like, wait a second.
So would you have like boats or something? I guess that you would use then. I mean.
I mean, we'll see. There was some water in like Red Dead Redemption, but there wasn't a ton of it. Let's say that, at least compared to this map.
Yeah, certainly. So yeah, we'll have to see what happens with this too. There's nothing other than people talking to people that know that this game is being made. Nothing again official has come out about it yet, and of course I forgot to mention that the GameStop is also they just did some kind of presentation, basically saying that they know more than they're willing to be able to talk about these supposed new consoles, including the NX, which is a new console for Nintendo. But again, Nintendo has literally not talked about anything about it right now.
Yeah.
Um, so, speaking of Nintendo, while we await another day for the Star Fox Zero game to come out, which is getting a lot of mixed reviews right now,
Well, it's like
apparently.
the reviews are basically like it's Star Fox game we wanted 15 years ago.
Yeah, and the controls are really hard, apparently. Uh,
Yeah.
which I thought they were supposed to make those easier, not make them harder.
Well,
It's not good.
like from what I understand, like the actual like R-wing missions are still pretty easy. It's all the crap surrounding it that's annoying.
Oh, that's wonderful. Because there
Like that
seems to be.
stupid like hacking robot stuff, or like when you have to use a touchscreen or like the gamepad. It's like no.
Uh, yeah. So I mean, we'll see. It comes out tomorrow. I'm sure many people will have their opinions on it by then. Uh, Nintendo. Well, this doesn't have to do with Nintendo, but a Nintendo property might get a movie. You know, Pokemon's been on this 20th year anniversary deal for a while, and now the Pokemon Company is trying to get a live action film made for the movie for the property. Um, Warner Brothers, Legendary, and Sony are in the running for this. Looks like Legendary is probably going to win the thing. I mean, I'm sort of excited, but I'm not going to get myself too excited about it.
Well, it'll reach the hallowed reviews of the Dragon Ball Evolution movie and the Legend of Korra movie, or the Avatar movie, I should say.
I think it could certainly do much better than that Dragon Ball Z movie. So I mean, yeah, they would have to be really bad. I mean, you can't really mess that up. All it is CG, and the people should know how to do CG by now. So, I mean, it's Pokemon CG. We've seen this already in the games. It's not like it's anything too special, but we'll have to see again what they decide to do.
It'll be like James Franco as Ash Ketchum.
Ha! That'd be great. We got a more adult Ash Ketchum. I'm totally for that.
No, he'll still be like a 15-year-old kid. It just won't make any sense.
So we do know that again the PS4 won the sales for March. That's a no-brainer. And they did come out with the. Of course, this is only retail stores. This is not digital. But after hardware sales were down 19% year over year during this month, they did reveal that Tom Clancy's The Division is the number one selling game of March. Then Far Cry Primal, Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess, Grand Theft Auto 5 still in there. UFC 2, MLB 16 The Show, Pokemon Tournament, NBA 2K16, Call of Duty Black Ops 3, Minecraft, still hanging on there, number 10, and the 360 version, still the most sold Minecraft, by the way. So, yeah, hey, 2 Wii U games on there at least. Yeah.
And neither one of them are third party. That should tell you something right there.
I think, yeah, I mean, has there even been a third party game that's done decent for the Wii U? Everything, other than Bayonetta, I mean, yeah, I
Mass
think
Effect
everything else
3.
is. Wow. Going way back to Mass Effect 3 at this point. Jeez.
I think Disney Infinity and Skylanders do okay in that thing.
Yeah, they do okay. Um, I don't know what to make about this. Like, it seems like a lot of people complaining, but they forget that some of these games were not even part of the same developer. There is a Batman HD collection coming out June 10th. It only has Arkham City and Arkham Asylum. Many people complaining it does not have the Arkham Origins. And for some reason they wanted Arkham Knight included in there too, even though nobody has a PS4 and Xbox One version. But okay.
Yeah. If this thing is like $30, I'd buy it because having Arkham City, well, having really Arkham Asylum on like the PS4 is fine. Is a good thing. If it's going to be $60, no, thank you.
Yeah, I don't think $60 for a game that has been given out for free in so many different capacities at this point. It's constantly on. I mean, I know you're getting the HD graphics and all that kind of stuff, but I do think at least it needs to go down to $40 maybe. You do get all the other DLC, so I guess they'll
But
try to
like
justify it with
I
that.
played Arkham Asylum on PC, and that version still looks great. So it's like, how much of a bump are you really going to be able to do? Like, it'll be minimal at best, unless you're going to like redesign the whole game.
Yeah, certainly. It's. I mean, I think they're gonna. It's obviously gonna be more for the people that only played them on console that are gonna really see the difference. But it has been a while since they've sort of announced the HD remake. So, I guess it's okay, but you can pre-order it now if you want. But yeah.
It seems like a cash grab. Let's
Oh,
be honest
totally.
here.
Oh,
But
yeah. It's total cash grab.
yeah, but still, two games. Why not?
Yeah, and speaking of, when we talking about old games, Microsoft has now ceased production of 360. So very soon you
Yeah,
will not be able to buy any more Xbox 360s. Uh, do you have fond memories of the 360?
everyone had a 360. Let's be honest.
Yeah. Um, I did have the crappy Red Ring once, and then shortly after that, I got the S, so I didn't have that problem anymore. But
Yeah, I'm on my third 360, and I actually have to probably in the next few months get another one because like my 360 is described as like uh getting jammed, like it's not opening correctly.
ooh, yeah, you gotta be afraid you might lose a game
It's not
if you.
that. I mean, it'll open if I like kind of screw with it enough, but it's just a hassle. Like every like 20 times it'll like jam shut, and then I have to like get a pair of nail clippers and like jam one end in there, and it'll eventually start opening. And it's like, all right,
Yeah, you don't want to have to do that every time
yeah.
to get the disk drive to open. That's really annoying. Uh, I, I mean, like you said, everybody has 360. Um, it's one of those things I think where I think the 360 kind of finally helped, along with the PlayStation 2, obviously, helped kind of gaming get to this point that we're at now, where it's becoming a thing for everybody to at least own a console, and
Well,
uh,
you gotta remember the 360 introduced a lot of crap.
yeah,
Like
the
came out like
Xbox Live and
yeah, like online like art like downloadable games, friends lists. I mean, like the original Xbox did have some of that stuff, but this is out of the box built in, and it became like popular. So
right, yeah, it did a whole lot, and I mean, most people will say that the Xbox One's sort of a downgrade from that.
oh yeah,
Um,
totally.
yeah,
I think I think the party system on the Xbox One is still busted, isn't it?
yeah, yes, it's still busted. I keep thinking of the PS4 where that one works really easily.
Yeah.
I don't know how these things are. They come out in an older system, but yet it has to be some big deal for them to come out in the new system. That's so weird. GameStop is going further into making games. We already know that they're kind of publishing the Insomniac's Song of the Deep, which comes out July 12th. It's a downloadable game. And now they've got Ready at Dawn making a game with them. They got Tequila Works making a game with them. Frozen Byte is making a game with them. So, hey, Navy GameStop will figure out a way to deal with things going digital.
I
You
mean,
think?
This is a good role for GameStop to take because eventually they're gonna have to stop selling used games.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, eventually, unless they're online, you can still do it, I guess, through their online store. But when a lot of things go digital, you're gonna have to figure out another way to make money. And this is not, as long as the games are good, it should be okay for them. Song of the Deep looks pretty interesting. Um, I mean, after the the order 1886 was received as it was, Ready at Dawn, I'm sure will want to distance themselves from that and make something people will like more.
It'd be
But
helpful.
again, have to wait. We don't even know what the name of these games are or anything, so GameStop still has plenty to discuss on that front. I did talk about Mafia 3. Looks like at least there will be a tie in the name of one of the cities or anything, but they do have a release date for Mafia 3, October 7, 2016, on consoles and PC. Again, this is another one of these games I never played, so...
I started Mafia 2 like within the past month, and it is a technically well-made game, but it is just very empty. And it's just a weird game because there's no reason for it to be open world.
Yeah. It seems like... Is that what they're going to do with this game? They're going to make it open world?
Oh yeah, because the past two were, so why not? But I hope they actually have stuff for you to do between missions in this one.
Yeah, I mean, you would think that they would learn from that, and especially all the open worlds that have come out since then.
They'll still have Playboy covers for you to pick up though.
Yeah, I'm sure. Even though Playboy doesn't do the nude pictures anymore, they'll figure out a way to make it a thing. Speaking of release dates, World of Warcraft Legion, the expansion pack now has a release date of August 30th. People say that they've been waiting for this Legion thing forever, but I see more people saying that they quit playing already and they're not going to come back than anything
No,
else.
they'll play it for a month and get through the new content up to the point where it starts raiding, and then they'll stop. Because that's what they did to the last few expansions.
Yeah, well, I mean, isn't like raiding a lot easier now than it used to be? I mean,
Oh yeah, but you still got to put in a time investment and like a knowledge basis, because a lot of fights in Warcraft now aren't just tank and spank the boss. It's like activating or like managing threat or like mitigating like some special property the boss does or ability, and it's a lot more involved than it used to be at least.
okay. Yeah, I never got to that point either before I stopped playing, was it the Pandaren one? So, I'm sure, like you said, people will play to start. They're apparently down to like 3.5 million subs,
That's
which is
pretty.
still...
I mean, that's high, but
uh,
it's low for them.
right, yeah. Do you see them at some point just it's gonna bottom out and they just don't make it anymore?
No, I think eventually it'll turn free to play, and that's what'll drive people back into that game like really a lot harder. Uh, but for me, it's just the grind of the game that I just don't like. Like for items that I still want to get. Like I still want to get the what is it? Uh, damn it, Stratholme's mount. I forget the name of it. Rivender's charger. That's it. But to get that thing, you got to run it fucking 100 times, and it's like no, let it drop. Let me just buy it for $5 and I'll be happy.
Right. Uh, I mean, it, is that same drop you've been trying to get for like ever?
Yeah, for the past 5 years, and I'm like level 85 or 90 in that game now. I mean, that's like a level 40 dungeon. So you can roll in there and steamroll everything, but it takes like 10 minutes to get through every time because you got to do like a certain path to like just to destroy parts of the base or the instance before you can get to the boss, and it's like it's such a time commitment. It's like you got to run through it, then run back, reset it, and then run through it again. It's like, dear God.
Yeah, too much going on for for you to have to deal with here. Um, so apparently Conor McGregor has retired and unretired a day. That's a thing going on right now. Um, Yeah, why?
Yeah.
He didn't get his money. So, I know, man. People doing publicity stunts just amaze me sometimes. Their first two games have been really good. Enjoyed both Bastion and Transistor, and now Greg Kasavin announced and showed off a little teaser trailer for Pyre.
Higher.
Pyre.
Yep.
Um, I love the artwork. That looks amazing. Um, have you seen it?
I saw the trailer. It looked okay. Uh, I kind of hope it's better than Transistor. Like, Transistor was a very well-made game, but I ran into like a pretty nasty PC bug when I was playing it, which was like progress killing. So it's like great.
Yeah, I played on the I played on the PC for a little bit, and then I played it on the PS4. Transistor was really good. Just it seems like this is has a few things from Transistor, but also takes things from Bastion. It's not the sort of strategy game. Seems more like the action game that Bastion was. So we'll have
Yeah.
to hopefully we find out more about it. It'll be there at PAX East on Friday when that starts. So
Well, the
um,
one thing it'll have going for it probably is good writing. Like I've always liked Supergiant's right. Like Rick Kasavin is a great writer, so like it'll have that going for it at the very least.
yeah, and then they've always been really good about having the narrator, and especially Bastion having the narrator while the game is going on. So if anything, it keeps you in there with its writing and everything else. It keeps you in tune, even if the gameplay is getting a little bit long in the tooth for you. Certainly, speaking of writing, graphic novel coming out for that Warcraft movie. That's going to be a prequel to.
that
I,
that movie continues to look worse and worse with the more trailers I've seen.
that's what I haven't seen that latest trailer, but I don't know. I feel like I'm still going to see the movie.
It has
Uh,
dubstep in the trailer.
oh boy.
That's what
Oh.
you want with Warcraft.
Why? Even like, could you imagine like dubstep for Lord of the Rings? Like that wouldn't have happened. I mean, God, some people are just out of tune with. Hey, you gotta at least be a little bit. Uh, you gotta understand that series has nothing to do with that. Like, why? Just why? Street Fighter 5 finally rage quit system
Yeah,
added. Uh,
only 2 months after the fact.
it was gonna hit players with high disconnect rates by locking them out of matchmaking if you rage quit. Think that's gonna work?
I mean, they got to do something. I have friends who still play that game who still get quit on, and it's like, didn't you think this was going to happen? Like, this happened the last go around. Like, you
Es-
idiots. Like,
Especially in a fighting game,
yeah,
like where it's really obvious you're gonna die, you're gonna lose, and people don't like losing. So seems, I mean, at least in a sports game, there's kind of unless you're getting blown out, there's that chance you might come back or whatever. But it's pretty quick to tell you're gonna get your ass whooped in the fighting game and you're gonna quit.
yeah.
So don't know why that wasn't implemented from the beginning, but kind of seems to be the MO of Street Fighter 5. We're just gonna add stuff later since this is the platform and all. Um, so let's move on. AMC at one point. They quickly decided not to do this, but at one point they were going to think about allowing people to text
Yeah,
in theaters. I mean, why?
because profits are down and they think that this will get the teens back into going to the theaters.
No, they're not going to pay $10
Yeah, that was
so that
my Yeah.
So they can tag. I mean, they already do it anyway. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter if it was designated or not. They're still going to do it. It just. I mean, this seems so stupid. Like, why would you even think that? Okay, hey people, you can come to our theater, and now you might have a theater where you can just text the whole movie. Really?
If they wanted to increase profits or increase people going in there, they should decrease the prices.
Yeah, exactly. That's what people are going to now. Yeah, if you tell me that all of a sudden you went from having, $11, $12 movie to 7 or 8 or something like that, might go more often.
There is a local theater in my town that gets new movies, but like it's only it's a 4 screen theater, but they get new movies, when they come out.
Yeah.
But it's a $4.50 matinee.
Man, I want to go to your theater.
So when Avengers comes out in a few weeks, I'm gonna go see it like Friday at like 12 or 1 p.m. and just be like, "Yep, $4.50."
Yeah, the good old days. Now the matinee is what, like 7, 6 maybe, depending on the theater, and that's still.
Yeah,
I mean, most people necessarily, you work, you don't necessarily have the option to go to a matinee. You have to go to that
yeah,
nighttime theater, and it's just expensive. And I get it that they have more costs now with things or whatever, but it's just I don't see it. And then I'm glad AMC was quick to just say, okay, we're not doing it, because I think you would have turned off more people than you would have actually brought into the theater. So this is one of those times where the internet works. So
One,
go
the
ahead.
only time.
Yeah, the only time. So Amazon Video have now decided to, or Amazon, sorry, have decided to separate their Amazon Video from the Amazon Prime deal, and you can now pay a monthly plan to watch Amazon Instant Prime, or whatever the heck it's called, Instant Video, for $8.99 a month. Especially now that Netflix has gone up to the $9.99. And you can also get the Prime Video with shipping for $11 a month if you want, instead of having to do the whole paying yearly. So, hey, I might get Amazon Prime now. I don't know. What do you think about
I
all
got
this?
I actually have Amazon Prime, but I have Prime Student, which is awesome.
That's not. Oh, I'm guessing it's less expensive.
It's 50 a year
Oh, that's not bad at all.
with shipping and Amazon Video. So it's like, all right, cool.
Yeah, I don't even want to do the free trial, because it's like I know I might forget, and then I get dropped with a $100 thing that I can't pay. So
Well, that's why Amazon Prime Student's great because it's 50.
yeah, I think this is a good deal for Amazon. I mean, they were talking about, they want to get into some exclusive, like exclusive anime streaming, and now they're wanting to get into like video game stuff. So I think making this much more affordable is only going to help them get more people onto it, and it gives people that whole that variety. That, okay, if Netflix doesn't have something that I want, I can pay Amazon Prime and get something I want, and they have different things that Netflix doesn't have, so it's good. Uh, Good stuff.
Yeah,
Always
and,
better to have this.
and no one still cares about Hulu.
Hey, I care about Hulu. Um,
You care about Hulu because of the anime on it, though, right?
yeah, but if when I eventually ditch Comcast, I don't know how
Like,
that's gonna happen, but
if Crunchyroll is actually worth a damn, you'd care about that more than
well,
Hulu.
Crunchyroll's worth it. It's just that Hulu has all like the old anime that I
Yeah,
like watching too. So, you know, the best of both worlds, I guess, of both of them. Netflix is also thinking about letting you download content to your whatever system you want, or not the consoles, but like I guess to your phone. or possibly your PC so you can watch it later. It seems like they should have done this a long time ago, but
I mean, yes, but also that is going to incur the wrath of studios and like, it's just an avenue for piracy or something like that, and it's like, get out of the like 1800s, please.
yeah, seriously, this is just it's the reality of the world we live in. Where people don't, even though it is more available now than it used to be for you to have Wi-Fi everywhere and your network and all that everywhere. You can watch it everywhere, but and in many other countries they don't have that. So you need to be able to download things for it to be worth it for you to be able to watch it.
I mean, it'd be nice if they did do this, to just introduce a download limit. Like, just say like you can only have 5 things out at once, or 10 things, or something like that. But they could build around it.
Yeah, exactly. They can find a way to limit it and make it to where you can't do this. So I don't think it's that big a deal. Like you said, I'm sure there will be things that'll get where you can't do it. Amazon Video has that issue right now. YouTube has that issue right now. So, but I think YouTube is it's so much easier to pirate the thing that I can understand why they do it with that. But
Yeah.
So, a big deal with Castle, which I'm not a Castle fan, but the one of the co-stars not returning because of budgetary reasons, supposedly.
Yeah, I mean, that's bound to happen. Like, because shows go on, they just get more and more expensive. So, yeah.
I know, but with her, like her and Nathan Fillion's like chemistry and all that stuff, like that's like the point of the show.
Yes, but also, I mean, if they just kill her off in like the 8th season finale or something, like, imagine how much different that show is going to be in the 9th season.
Maybe, but it may also just spell the end for it too. So
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, it's already ending. I mean, the shortened season 9 is already an indicator of that. Or if like she gets kidnapped in the 8th season finale, and like the whole 9th season is like about the hunt for her, or and then she comes back like in the last episode, and they have like a happy ending. Like, sure, why not?
right. Well,
Like,
hopefully, yeah.
did you ever watch House?
Yes,
When it,
House.
like,
Yeah.
imagine look at how many iterations that show went through.
Oh God, yeah.
So,
But it kept Hugh Laurie the whole time, so.
yeah, and that's about it. And then it kept Omar Epps because he needed the work.
No, wasn't there a point where Omar Epps left and then came back?
For like a few episodes, he was pretty much always on there.
Yeah. I mean, I've watched all the episodes. It's been a long time since I've seen it.
And
So
here's the thing about House: the first like 2 seasons were still the best.
yes, exactly. As it went on, it got really, really more and more obvious that it was basically the same formula every time. They did help it by going deeper into like the problems with House and all that other stuff, but yeah, now we're divulging into other things here. But how do you feel about this whole? I don't know. I'm one of those that like, if you can do it, cast the right race in a movie. But a lot of people have moaned and complained about Scarlett Johansson being the main character in the Ghost in the Shell manga, or the live action, and the manga publisher says, "Look, this is getting Ghost in the Shell out there to so many different people because she's on it. You need to stop complaining." Is he right?
The thing. Well, that thing wouldn't get made without her in it. Let's be honest here.
Yeah.
So, I mean, yes, it's a dumb reason, and having an Asian woman be in the Asian role would obviously be better. But how many people are going to see that movie with Ming Na in it compared to Scarlett Johansson?
Right, yeah. there's going to be a heck of a lot more people going because Scarlett Johansson is the movie. She's shown uh, that she can carry movies by herself. You know, the Lucy movie did really well.
Best that Lucy was the best comedy of the year.
Yeah, but I mean, still. So I think and it's not like you don't have the anime out there. It's not like you don't have the original movie out there for you to watch if you really have a problem with it. Um,
Yeah, it's not like they're like destroying all the Ghost in the Shell animes or anything like that. It's like, go ahead here.
right. There is now going to be a Hanna-Barbera cinematic universe. At what point do we just everything is going to be a cinematic universe at some point? Just
I'm only a fan of this if WWE City is a part of it as well.
the Slam City thing. Yeah, I mean, there's a
Weren't they
new. Go ahead. Sorry.
weren't they doing like another WWE Scooby Doo movie? But it like
Yes, they are.
wasn't like Hulk Hogan like going to be a big part of it.
Yes, I think so. That might be why it's not. Same thing happened with CM Punk, but they had to let CM Punk still be in it. So I
Yeah.
don't, I don't know what
Oops.
yeah, oops. Uh, they have a new Scooby Doo movie called Scoob, or SCOOB, that comes out in 2018, and then it's going to have interlocking movies, which, even though some of these other movies are tied to other studios, uh, you could potentially have a Flintstones movie with Scooby Doo, or Jetsons, or Smurfs, or I mean, this is all cool if you are really nostalgic, but
Yeah, it's like who cares about Johnny Quest anymore? Let's be honest here.
Johnny Quest. Didn't Cartoon Network like make another version of Johnny Quest or something?
Yeah, well they keep trying to bring it back, and it's like who cares?
Yeah, people do not. It's long past at this point. It does not have the cachet of some of these other old ones. Speaking of old movies, Jungle Book, the live action, rocked the box office. So, uh,
I bet the people who made that Peter Pan like prequel are like crying themselves to sleep right now.
well, this has already led to Disney's going to make a Peter Pan movie themselves. So,
Yeah.
uh, all these have done well for Disney. I'm not saying I'm more of an animated fan person, but I'll probably see this when it hits DVD. I'm sure it's good. It wouldn't have, you know. Um,
It has Idris Elba in it, so it's automatically good.
yes, and Jon Favreau doing directing is usually pretty decent. So
He's actually a pretty good director.
yeah.
Like, aside from Iron Man, like everything else he's doing is actually still like Iron Man's obviously his best movie, but everything else also holds up pretty well.
Oh, agreed. Um, uh, yeah, I don't think I've seen a movie that he's sort of been involved in that I didn't like. So
The only one that's like a little miss is that Chef movie he did.
oh, that's right. Yeah,
But
the
what are you gonna do?
was it that one with the like these two in the relationship and the one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Hold on, I'm trying to think. Are you have you seen the Now You See Me movie?
Nope.
I liked the first one. Uh, I thought it was pretty interesting. Um, they're already making a third one, no surprise. I think anybody that if they're gonna get to the point with the second one, they're gonna try their hardest to make a third one. That's just kind of how it is with these movies at this point. Good luck to them. Hopefully the second one does well, so it justifies them doing this, I guess. Uh, the Jumanji might actually star The Rock and Kevin Hart. So,
Nope.
uh,
Can I say no on that?
somehow it's The Rock is great.
The other guys not so much.
Kevin Hart's funny, but it's just like I don't
Yeah,
know.
he's like the Chris Tucker of now.
Right, exactly. Yes, he has his audience. He works well with The Rock. I think you might have your Jackie Chan and the Chris Tucker sort of team up thing there with those two, where they work well together, but maybe Kevin Hart separately doesn't work
They should form a
that well.
tag team.
You know what? I don't think WWE would say no. I don't know about them, winning any tag team titles or anything, but um, you know, it doesn't hurt. I'm a big fan of Robin Williams, so I'm also a big fan of The Rock. I don't know. That might have to be one of those again. See how that goes with the Jumanji
See, here's the
remake.
thing. I like the first movie.
Yes, I do too.
It's not a great movie. I'll admit that, but it has a lot of weird elements that I just kind of appreciate.
Yeah, it does.
And it's one of Kirsten Dunst's only good roles.
I would agree with you on that too. Um, and the whole concept of it is cool, and then the whole with the board game and everything. So
Did you
his little
see? Did you see Zathura?
no, I've not seen that.
You should watch that. John Favreau directed that,
Oh, really?
and it's actually, I mean, it's a much better Jumanji, honestly. But I mean, it's actually a pretty good movie.
Oh, I need to go find it then somewhere.
And again, what Kristen Stewart is in it, and it's like her only watchable performance.
I liked her in the what is it, the Adventures of the one where they were at the theme park and they worked
Yeah,
at the
yeah,
theme park.
I know
I
what
did
you're
like
talking
her
about.
in
Yeah,
that.
and like Dak Shepard is actually really good in that movie. He's probably the best part.
Well, darn, maybe I need to go find this movie then. So pretty much we already talked about Star Fox Zero coming out tomorrow. You can get Tales of the Borderlands at retail next week if you are one of those people that needs to have the retail version of a game. There's this Severed comes out next week, which is one of the Vita games that has really been anticipated. It's a role playing game that's like touch based. It's made by the same people who made Guacamelee, so it has a really cool art style as well, very similar to the Guacamelee art style. Um, the Sega 3D Classics Collection comes out for 3DS. And I think that's a Pool Nation VR, guys. If you're waiting for that Pool Nation VR, that will come out. The second episode of Hitman comes out next week.
I still got my Hitman code for PC if anyone wants to buy it.
You don't want to play it,
I've been trying to sell that goddamn thing for the past month now.
and you can buy a beat 'em up for the Vita called Mega Tag Mention Blanc Cross Neptune versus Zombies. Jesus Christ, we're getting crazy with these names. But yeah, another Hyperdimension Neptunia game. I wonder how long it takes that to come out on Steam. They're just really, really getting crazy with that anyway. So yeah, I think that pretty much does it for this week. I know you gotta go. But yeah, everybody enjoy your games. I'm sure we'll hear more about all the stuff with the PS4 4.5 and everything else.
Yeah.
And we'll be back next week.
Later.
Unless there's a ton of crap at PAX, then maybe we'll be back later in the weekend or something.
Yeah.
All right. Bye, everybody.